Just a few notes today on a couple of issues. First of all, there was a news conference yesterday, and some of you may have actually seen it live. I caught bits and pieces of it where the president's legal team unveiled what they say is evidence, clear evidence that there was actually election fraud going on. Didn't take long for mainstream media to say, "Well, you haven't produced anything." Rudolph Giuliani, one of the president's lawyers, was saying on Sean Hannity's program on Fox News Channel last night that we got like 250 affidavits. These are going to be something that counts, and yet media saying we need more evidence. You need to put your cards on the table. What do you got? From Peggy Noonan today. She's a columnist at the Wall Street Journal. Used to be a Republican. Was actually a speechwriter for Ronald Reagan. She has a column and she says, well, this is the headline. She may not have written the headline herself. It says a bogus dispute is doing real damage. Well, she's saying that they've got nothing. The Trump team has nothing. The sheer nuttiness surrounding the current mess is becoming deeply destructive, she writes. Trump staff and supporters should know at this point that in trying to change the outcome, they are doing harm, undercutting respect in and hope for democracy. You know what? Over the last 4 years, all I heard was Russia, 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 Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine. You talk about harm for the future of democracy. What we went through pretty well destroyed it for a lot of us. Our trust in institutions is gone. Our trust in news media, which was already thin, is gone. Our trust in the people who are supposed to lead us is pretty dang thin. And I'm not talking about President Trump, but I'm talking about a lot of people in many different walks of life, including people like Peggy Noonan, who I used to have a lot of respect for. I wanted to throw all of that out this morning because it boggles the mind. Joan Walsh has a piece at The Nation today. She's a liberal, and she's talking about how Trump's coattails carried Republicans all over the country in state legislative races. And she said Biden didn't have any coattails. So again, it belies belief to sit here and say that Joe Biden, well, people showed up in these four big cities to vote en masse for Joe Biden, but they didn't vote for anybody else. There are some people who do that. They're a bullet voter. They come in and they vote for one candidate, leave everything else blank. But these numbers are just so vast that doesn't pass the smell test. By the way, one last thing. We had big news here locally in my own community. I live in southern Idaho, Twin Falls to be exact. But we have an 8-county region that is controlled by a public health district, and it was considering a mask mandate. Our local sheriff stood up yesterday and said, sorry, I'm not going to be enforcing this. He may not have been alone in law enforcement. A 5-4 vote, it was close, defeated the mandate yesterday afternoon. However, in North Idaho, which is probably, they call it the Redoubt. It's one of the most conservative places, if not libertarian places, anywhere in the world. It's a 5-county region. The health district there voted to mask everybody up. The thing is, who's going to be enforcing this? The jails are overcrowded. No one wants to build new ones. It just seems to me that it's a fool's errand. And so it's one of those virtue signaling things, but it means nothing. If you like our videos, click on the subscribe button at the top of the page, and you can also leave me comments in the comments section below. My name is Bill Colley, by the way, Billcolley.